Pete the cat awoke one sunny morning. Sunlight slanted in golden bars across his blue fan, stretched his paws wide. Today was special. Today his 4 groovy buttons were freshly polished, shiny as moonlight on water, and each one had a color more sparkly than the last. There was the red rhythm button, hot and bold. The green groove button, smooth and calm. The yellow yippee button, bright like a sunflower dance. And the blue bounce button, cool as a summer breeze. Pete slipped into his favorite polka dot shoes, gave his tail a happy twirl, and said, "Oh yeah, feeling fine." He padded out the door with a skip in his step, planning to show everyone in town the magic of his buttons. You see, each button made a special sound, or beat, or rhythm if you pressed it. Pete liked to carry a small suitcase with a strap across his shoulder, and inside, his 4 buttons fit neatly in a velvet pouch. He planned to try them one after another at lunch in the park, hoping maybe the ducks would dance and the squirrels would tap their paws. On his walk through Maplewood Lane, Pete greeted his neighbor Miss Bixby, who gardened begonias and wore a wide-brimmed hat. She smiled and asked, "What's new today, Pete?" He grinned, showing off a bit. "I've got 4 groovy buttons, Miss Bixby, and I think they might just make magic." The begonias nodded in the breeze as if they agreed, petals bobbing. Further down, children played hop-skipper on the sidewalk, their chalk drawings limping under late morning sunshine. Pete waved, thinking, "When I press these buttons, everything will move to my beat." He hoped even the chalk drawings might dance. At midday, Pete arrived at the park, setting up on a bench beneath the old oak tree. The ducks quacked below the pond. The squirrels scurried in the leaf litter. A gentle wind whispered through the branches. He unzipped his velvet pouch, laid out the buttons in order: red, green, yellow, blue. He pressed the red rhythm button. Boom, boom, boom. It sounded like drums in a parade. The ground pulsed. 2 ducks at the edge of the pond bobbed forward, beaks tapping. Some squirrels paused, heads cocked. A little frog croaked. Pete grinned. That button worked. Next, he pressed the green groove button. A smooth bass-like hum rolled out, gentle and deep, like moss underfoot or breathing forest. The ducks waddled sideways in slow sways. Squirrels waggled their tails. A butterfly fluttered along. Even Miss Bixby's begonias seemed to lean in as if listening. Pete felt his paws wiggle. He was gruffing. Then he pressed the yellow yippee button. The sound burst up bells and giggles and high-pitched notes like sunshine laughter. The children playing hop-skipper paused, and their skipping rope rhythms changed to a skipping dance. The ducks flapped wings once, feeling joy. Pete laughed, his tail flicking. The world around him lit up with delight. Finally, Pete pressed the blue bounce button. Bowing, the sound sprang up like a trampoline. The leaves shook, the ducks jumped, the squirrels bounced. Even the benches seemed to hop a little. Pete hopped too. The world bounced in blue bounce, and Pete thought maybe this was the best one yet. Just then, a sudden gust of wind rattled leaves, and a stray gust blew Pete's suitcase to the ground. Buttons scattered, the velvet pouch flipped inside out. One small button green groove rolled away and dropped behind the pond railing. Oh no, Pete's heart sank a little. How could he make the full button beat without all four? Pete chased after Green Groove, leaped over stones, poured behind the railing, but the button slipped into the water with a plop. It bobbed and drifted away toward the ducks. Pete reached in, paw trembling. The ducks paddled around it. Pete didn't want to scare them. He wished the button back. He remembered something Miss Bixby once told him: when trouble knocks, kindness often opens the door. So instead of jumping after the button in water, which could scare the ducks, Pete asked softly, "Ducks, would you mind nudging that little green button to me?" The ducks quacked, and with one duck stretching its neck and another paddling, together nudged the button back close to shore. Pete scooped it up, water droplets shimmering. He thanked the ducks kindly, patted each on the head. The squirrels cheered. Pete felt proud, restoring the full set. He put Green Groove back into place, worked safe and sound. He paused, thinking, maybe the button beat ISNT just about loudness, or fancy hops it S about sharing and caring, about appreciating even the smallest help. Pete smoothed the buttons, feeling warmth in his paws. Then he pressed his 4 buttons in sequence: red rhythm, green groove, yellow yippee, blue bounce. A melody of magic unfurled. Drums, hum, laughter, bounce all dancing together. The park erupted in motion. Ducks quacked in rhythm. Squirrels tapped paws. Children danced. Even begonias seemed to pulse with color. The oak overhead rustled applauding leaves. An old cat watching from a window said, "That's the button beat." A toddler giggled. Miss Bixby clapped. Pete beamed so wide his whiskers stretched. But Pete didn't stop there. He stood up on the bench, lifted his paws, guided each sound to others in the park. Let us all do the button beat together. He encouraged the kids to clap red rhythm, wave arms to Green Groove, shout yippee for the yellow bounce with the blue. And they did. The button beat became their beat, not just Pete's. Harmony sprouted. At twilight, the sound dimmed into soft echoes. The ducks returned to the pond edge, squirrels curled in nests, and the children walked home humming. Pete packed up his buttons in the velvet pouch, placed it gently in his suitcase. The magic lingered in the air, in the wagging tails of squirrels, in the hush of leaves. On the walk home, Pete thought about the day. He'd learned the magic of his buttons, but also something beyond the sound. Kindness, sharing, caring, helping others, restoring what was lost, making the beat bigger by bringing everyone in. When he arrived home, he slipped off his polka dot shoes, placed the buttons safely in a drawer, and crawled into bed. He closed his eyes, tail curled warmly, dreaming of red rhythm drums, green groove hums, yellow yippee laughter, and blue bounce hops. And he knew, every time he pressed those buttons, the beat lives not just in sound, but in friendship and joy.